Hello, I'm Lawrence Chard. Welcome to our Chard Coin and Bullion Dealer channel. I hope the sound quality is good this week. Now, in the last few days of February this year, we did a reasonably large buy-in from somebody, which is just over 1,000 sovereigns, and in total about £500,000. Now, there's nothing too unusual about that, except there were a few interesting finds in this particular lot. Our customer had made an appointment to come in and see us, and it was about mid on the Friday afternoon. So I was aware that we'd need me and a small team of the people to actually try and check and sort the coins in good time, because we actually finished slightly early on Fridays, and I think our customer had come from quite a distance away. But it was interesting how things developed. The seller helpfully volunteered that he'd bought the sovereigns from 3 different dealers. One of them was us. One was from somebody in London whose name is familiar to me, but I haven't heard much about him for many years now. And the other was, let's say, different. A name that was well known to me. Once our customer service team had done a quick check of the count of the items, I had a quick look and could see there were 3 different types of packaging. One lot we could identify as being from us, and the customer told us this, and they were in plastic bags in rolls of 50, and then the plastic taped up. There was even some handwriting on there that I could recognise, and I could tell our packaging. I had a quick look at a few of those, and yeah, they were okay. They were what I expected. I also had a look at the other lot that were from the London supplier, and they were all in some plastic tubes. Strangely enough, they were in US $quarter tubes. I mean, they didn't really fit very well in the tubes. They slacked about a bit. But had a quick look at those, and they were quite minty Victoria's first and second portrait. So again, I could quite happily hand those over to some of the other team members for them to process. The third lot were in paper rolls, and there were 5 lots of paper rolls there, and we had been told who these came from. So I looked through the first roll and found a surprising number of fakes in there, far higher proportion than I'd normally expect to find. I probably should add that the customer told us that he'd never actually opened any of the packages since he'd received them, so they were just as they'd been shipped out to him. For the first roll, there were also quite a high proportion of ex-jewellery, very polished-looking coins that, and you can tell instantly when you look at them that they've come out of jewellery. They've often got scratches and lots of scuffs, and they just look awful. Some dealers include these as bullion sovereigns. We tend to be pickier and downgrade those to what we call grade C. What really surprised me, even knowing the source, I was surprised at the high proportion of substandard coins, and also the number of fakes we got. If I'm correct, we got 6 fake coins out of that first roll of 50. And 3 of them were very obvious 1918 Bombay India Mint ones, and quite distinctive. At this point, the next thing I did was go over to see the customer and tell him the bad news. It didn't seem terribly upset or surprised for some reason, and we also asked was it okay to take those fakes and photograph them in a photo studio, and also to take the remaining 4 rolls and do a quick unwrapping video of those in our video studio, and he was quite happy for us to do that. So we proceeded. The very first roll, when we unwrapped it, it had got some printing inside, and it looked like an old letterheading or some scrap paper cut or torn from a letterheading, which was quite interesting, and we recognised the name on there as being consistent with what the customer had told us. I don't really know why that was on the inside. I think if we'd have been using branded wrapping paper, we'd have had it wrapped on the outside. When we did the video, and we'll show you some video, it's quite crude video because we did it very quickly without, we didn't have time to set the studio up properly and get the lighting optimised. We were just doing it as a kind of evidential thing, and partly for our own interest to show our findings as they unrolled, literally. And what we found is there's even more of the lead heading. Some of it was almost entire top section, so you could see quite clearly who they were from, name, address, phone number, email address, all very illuminating to me and quite amusing, really, that this evidence was presenting before our very eyes. After the first roll, the proportion of fakes dropped off quite sharply, so we must have been either lucky or unlucky to find 6 in the first roll. We don't have an exact count of how many there were later, but it certainly was not 6 per roll. And we ended up with something like 100 substandard grade coins out of 250. So about 40% of the coins in there we ended up downgrading to grade C. I should say it's not illegal. It's not really unethical to sell substandard coins. I don't think it's really good practice or good customer relations. We don't do it. What we try and do is keep the quality standard and the minimum threshold for our secondary market, our choice sovereigns, up to what we think is an acceptable standard. Certainly in the last few years, we've also toughened up on highly polished coins that are ex-jewellery, and we basically put those into grade C. There is no grade B. We've done that deliberately to make a complete distinction. Unfortunately, I can't show you on the video the fakes that were in there because we actually handed those back to the customer and he kept them. We have got some still photos of some of them, which we're showing you now, and particularly the 1918 Indie Mints. And if you have a look at them, they all look like identical triplets. So at some stage in the future, we might actually get the fakes back from the customer, and particularly if he comes along to sell the balance of his investment. And if we do, we'll actually make sure that we keep them separate, and we'll actually do a kind of follow-up video for this. Now, why am I telling you all this? There are a number of reasons. Firstly, I've always tried to share my knowledge and experience with people and actually help educate and inform customers, collectors, investors. So part of my public educational policy is to highlight fakes, which in one sense are the bane of our industry. It would be much easier and nicer if they didn't exist. But they do exist, and they do make life interesting. Could be a curse, actually. A large part of this is to actually inform and educate people about the high proportion or high quantity of fakes out there, and the even higher proportion of substandard coins that get sold. I think you should be particularly careful if you're buying sovereigns from jewellers, pawnbrokers, the guy down the pub, eBay, Facebook or other social media. Do be careful, because a lot of those people don't seem to care that coins are substandard or know whether they're genuine or fake. What's probably worse is that a number of the fake and substandard sovereigns we see have been bought from bullion dealers, so-called reputable and some well-known bullion dealers. We try to be a little bit circumspect when we're criticising fellow dealers and competitors. Some people don't really like it too much. One very big point is that all these substandard coins out there and fake coins is that the people selling these are really cheating their customers, and also, in a way, cheating us by providing unfair competition. I should say that it's not just us, but we do have many fellow bullion dealers who are actually very expert and actually genuinely quite reputable and honest people, and they do sell good quality coins rather like we do. They're our close competitors. And all this garbage that gets sold is really unfair competition to us and our fellow good dealers. What might come as a surprise is that too many of these substandard and fake coins come from a small handful of quite well-known and otherwise reputable bullion dealers. I say reputable, I don't consider them reputable, but they are generally considered at that. I think basically because people don't see as much as I see of coins that have been sourced from these people. If we saw it just once, well, it doesn't provide much evidence, but when we see substandard coins and fakes coming in from the same suppliers time after time, then yes, it all adds up as circumstantial evidence, and that is part of our market intelligence. Many years ago, we would probably scrapped a lot of the worst of the grade C coins, but we do get quite a lot of people only interested in the gold content. We have in the past had a few Indian doctor customers who have come along and wanted some very cheap older sovereigns because they wanted to take them home to India and have them handmade by a local jeweller there into things like earrings. And when they brought them home, back I should say, they've actually shown us of what they produced. And of course, 22 karat gold from sovereigns is an ideal way to provide the source material for that. These days, grade C sovereigns, our offer price on those is 1% premium over the intrinsic gold, whereas our regular quality, our choice bullion sovereigns, our current offer price is 2.5% premium. Our grade Cs do still have an advantage over some people's regular bullion sovereigns in that our grade Cs are still guaranteed genuine. And if we can't tell the difference, then we simply scrap them. Am I going to name and shame this dealer? My instinct and inclination is to say yes, but there are a few sensible reasons why we're not going to do that. Firstly, it might spark a defamation action, and even though we're confident that we have enough evidence of what we're saying, then we don't want the hassle, the time, the inconvenience and the expense of having to go through legal proceedings. So certainly for the time being, no, we'll resist the temptation. Another reason for not naming at the minute is there will always be a small proportion of people who don't like it. There may be consumers who for some reason think it's wrong. There's one phrase that I've heard more than once, and that's slagging off the opposition. And we want to avoid being accused of that. So we try to be a little bit circumspect about it. In any case, some of my colleagues make quite a good point that negative advertising and negative publicity isn't great, and it's probably not very effective. I agree and I see the point, but at the same time, I think there is information, there's things that I'm aware of that I think really should be shared with the public, investors and stackers. And ordinary consumers have the right to know these things. Unfortunately, revealing some truth like this might make us unpopular with a few dealers and competitors, but hopefully it's actually to the benefit of potential customers and investors and collectors. I actually feel more responsibility and duty towards them than I do about a handful of some of our, lesser competitors. We, or perhaps I, have spent over 60 years aspiring to trade using the highest ethical standards, and certainly at least aspiring to them. Because of this, I get frustrated and possibly even angry when I see there's unfair competition out there. This doesn't benefit anybody really, apart from the people doing the unfair competition and selling the, crap on YouTube videos. I feel that not only have I got the right to spill the beans, but I've also got some ethical and moral obligation to the general public to actually share this knowledge. So, what specific advice can I give? Well, first, be aware that there are fakes out there and there are quite a lot of substandard gold coins, including ones which are ex-jewellery. It's also quite a good idea to take a video when you receive a package certainly if you've got valuable coins in there, so that if there are any substandard coins or if there's any problem with it, you've actually got some evidence. You don't need very expensive and specialist equipment. Most modern smartphones have got decent cameras in them. The quality you get from that would be good enough to actually use in case there's any disputes. Always unwrap any coins and valuable goods you've got on video. Another thing you can do to help yourself is whatever you bought, if you've got some other dealer or expert local to you, you could actually go in and ask them for a second opinion. It's not always what all dealers want. Can you check what I bought from your competitor? But we at Chards are quite happy to give our opinions on coins, whoever you sourced them from, and we usually do make a charge, a reasonable charge for doing it, and it depends how much time it takes, whether we provide a night-on test, whether you want a written report on it. But we are happy to do that. We do expect customers to tell us the provenance of the coins, so where they've bought them from, and this also helps our market intelligence. I usually forget to invite you to like our video and subscribe to our channel, but today I've remembered, so brownie points. There must be something I've forgotten. If you have any comments, please add them and we'll try to get back and answer them. If you have any questions, we'll try to answer those. If there's suggestions for future videos, put those down there. We'll have a look and we'll try and work with them. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye for now.